Elden Ring's DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, is just around the corner. Or depending on when you're watching this video, it might already be out, and in which case, I'm very jealous of you because I'm not currently playing it. In anticipation for this lovely chunk of Elden Ring goodness, I've been going back through the game and experimenting with some fun new builds. Now, I've seen a lot of people use dex builds and intelligence builds, but that's just never been a thing for me. I've always preferred to just unga-bunga smash my way through these games. So that's why I'm going to take you through one of my favorite builds. It's a strength vigor build, focused mainly on using the Giant Crusher. This build is pretty straightforward. You pump most of your points into strength, so you can use the heaviest, most deadliest weapons you can find, and the rest goes into vigor, so you'll have a huge health bar to tank a lot of hits. The third stat I like to focus on for this build is endurance, because you're going to need plenty of stamina, equip load, and poise to survive the tough boss fights. It also wouldn't hurt to slot a few points into mind, because even though you definitely will not be using a whole lot of spells or incantations with this build, you're probably going to want a bit of FP for the weapon arts that you'll be using with your weapons. Now, of course, you can't really get that beautiful great hammer right at the start of the game. So for the beginning, you just want a club or whatever kind of weapon that scales with strength that you can find. One weapon that actually will carry you through most of the early game, and maybe the whole game period, is the crafted greatsword. You can find that when you defeat the boss at Castle Morn on the southern end of the Weeping Peninsula. The weapon art on that is actually pretty cool because it buffs all of your stats, which should give you a little bit of extra damage output. But the thing that we really want to find for this build is located behind the walls of Lindell. Just south of the outer wall side of Grace, you'll find a carriage with a chest, and inside is that Giant Crusher. This thing scales beautifully with strength, and once it's upgraded, it should be able to smash just about any enemy or boss you run into. And if you pair it with a nice Ash of War like Troll's Roar or Royal Knight's Resolve, the damage is so good. For armor, like I said, you want to increase your equip load so you can wear the heaviest, strongest stuff you can, while still being able to perform a medium dodge roll. If you're able to get your equip load up enough, I would suggest wearing something like the Bull Goat set or the Lionel set, because not only do they offer plenty of protection, they also look ridiculous. That's kind of what I look for in these games, to be quite honest. And then for talismans, I like Radigan's Source Seal, as that increases your vigor, endurance, strength, and dexterity by 5, although you do take a bit more damage while you're wearing it, although you can negate that by wearing the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, which will give you plenty of damage negation. Erdtree's Favor and its leveled up variants are a good choice as well, as they'll increase your HP, stamina, and equip load. And if you're really looking to bump up that equip load so you could wear the most ridiculous stuff possible, the Great Jar's Arsenal Talisman is a very solid choice for that. Of course, some of these talismans you may not find for quite some time, so really you're looking for any kind of talismans that can help increase your strength, HP, equip load, poise, or damage negation. Oh, and the Claw Talisman actually is good for this too, because jump attacks with the Giant Crusher work really well. Basically, you just want to get to the point where you don't need to do a lot of attacks, you just need to do a couple of big ones. And you also want to be tanky, because this is going to be a slow build, so you're probably going to get hit quite a bit, unless you're really good at your dodge rolling. You could also maybe think of pairing this with some kind of a shield to help you out, but me personally, I just dodge rolled through everything and then smacked them with my hammer, and I had a hell of a time. For all your Elden Ring and Shadow of the Erdtree news and guides, be sure to be checking out thegamer.com. I'm Jamie Latour, and I'm assuming that at this point in time, I'm probably stuck on one of the bosses within the Shadow of the Erdtree.